Breaking news today, you guys. Paramount is laying off employees come November in an effort for cost savings. While the number of people who will be cut is a disclosed range, the dollar amount they're trying to save is a specified dollar amount. So essentially what they're saying is more thought was given to the dollar amount rather than the number of people this would affect. How greedy of them. But is anyone surprised? I bet not. Let's get into it. I am your host, The Devil's Advocate, and I'm here to host fruitful conversations about things that are going on that could or could not affect your life. If you like what you're hearing, please like and subscribe, share the video. Please comment below if you agree with anything I'm saying. If you disagree with what I'm saying, let that be known too. Let's go. Yes, that Paramount who just made that massive deal with UFC to be the home of all UFC events starting in 2026 is preparing to lay off people starting in November. And who knows, with how everything is going right now in the economy, they're probably just saying November publicly to save a little bit of face. I wouldn't be surprised if layoffs started next week with the noise of college football. As you guys know, college football starts tomorrow, Saturday, August 23rd. So they're probably just saying it right now to kind of not generate a lot of buzz before the football season starts. And so we really can't take any dates they give as gospel. I mean, who knows? It's a crapshoot out here. The number of people expected to be laid off it's a range. It's 2,500 to about 3,000 people. If it is 2,500, that means you can expect more executives and bigwigs of the company to be scrambled out of there. But if it's 3,000, like the upper end number, that would just mean less bigger wigs, or it would just be more middle management or below people to be fired. So essentially, if you're like a staff, entry-level kind of person, you should be more nervous the higher the number is. So what is causing this? Well, Paramount just merged with Skydance earlier this month, in which David Ellison, who leads the Skydance team, has been working with Bain & Company out of Austin, Texas, to identify at least $2 billion in cost efficiencies. So, of course, they'll be trying to save more than the stated $2 billion, meaning that the range of people who will be fired of 2,500 to 3,000 could end up being higher. Again, you have to remember that these companies want to save face. They're not just going to come out and say we're going to fire 10,000 people. That would just cause a shitstorm out here. They can't essentially drop Thor's hammer. And this merger, as they're saying in the article, it probably isn't the cause, but I think we could look at it as the final straw that broke the camel's back. Let's take a look at what the president said. His name is Jeff Shell. He says, "We do not want to be a company that has layoffs every quarter. So it's going to be painful. It's always hard. But we don't want to be a company that every quarter is laying off people." I already see a problem here. One red flag that I saw with those statements is that he repeated himself. He said they don't want to be having layoffs every quarter like twice. In my personal experience, you guys, when people repeat themselves, they're usually being disingenuous. You can think of it like virtue signaling. Have you ever had a person in customer service, you knew that they didn't like you, they made like angry facial expressions at you, but when they talk to you, they're like really nice. It's unusual and unnatural. That's what I see here. And of course, we can't see him. There's no like interview, at least that I know of out there, where we can look at his facial expressions. But I'm not an expert linguist, but I damn sure know when people are being extra. And again, you ever notice when people like don't give a fuck, they kind of go above and beyond with their niceness and kindness. It's kind of what this is. It's clown world is not a phrase to justify. It really is like opposite day when you read this article. And thus, that's what this is really. The president can't, and the president meaning Jeff Shell, not the president of the United States. Jeff Shell can't publicly show indifference, and so he has to compensate with kind words. And going back to him repeating himself, he's going above and beyond trying to make it look like he cares. Companies should just start being honest and saying, we are always looking for ways to save money, and so if we have to cut you, we won't care. But the problem with that would be, it'd be too honest, and you couldn't have a somewhat functioning society. You couldn't keep people coming to work if companies were just that blatantly honest. It's amazing. People really do believe they're part of a company family, and many people at these big dog companies like Paramount, Google, they think they'll never get laid off, and because they're making big dollars, they just can't be cut at a moment's notice. So these are the breaks. What I do like that this article did was that it didn't fail to mention the deal with UFC. You'd have to ask how many people at Paramount thought their job was secure because of this deal. If you watch the UFC, if you watch any of their fights consistently, these layoffs are probably in your benefit. I hate to be that asshole, but think about it. If they, Paramount, are trying to make fights cheaper to a broader audience, then why wouldn't they lay off people? So this is where I have to be a devil's advocate and say that although they're laying off people, it's probably just going to keep fights cheap or even make it that much cheaper to watch fights. But don't think I'm a fan of people just being laid off like that. And I have said this, and I'm going to keep saying this time and time again. We're going to look at both sides of the same coins. We're not just going to take things at face value. And so with all that being said, let's take a look at the last sentence. Paramount had no comment on the layoffs. And this is not a quote from the president. This is the article writer himself saying that or writing that. So what's the problem with that statement? Well, it takes everything away Jeff Shell said. The article writer just contradicted the whole public statement Jeff made. How do you have the president of your company make a public statement and then say that company had no comments? You guys should just put more weight on the last sentence here. That is really as honest as Paramount can get without them actually having to say anything themselves. I mean, we should appreciate this article writer. I mean, that I'm sure he has a third ear, an ear we don't have to people in the industry, where he's kind of hinting at how Paramount really feels without having any quotations by Paramount themselves. All in all, I'm saying that the article writer Anthony D'Alessandro is a fly on the wall, and he has access to people that we, the public, do not have access to. And so I would think it'd be really difficult for him to write an unbiased article about a topic as controversial as laying off people. So what is it that I want you guys to get from this? Well, remember, companies are not loyal. They will do anything to save money when the timing is right. There's no family. That's an oxymoron. Work family is a contradiction. That is a term to cope with the fact that you have to be at work every day with people you're stuck collaborating with. And you may be stuck with family members in your personal life, but remember, you don't have to be around them like you do at work. So, guys, I want you to keep in mind that your work, quote-unquote, friends are always temporary. If you leave your job, no one will talk to you. Very few of them probably will, but don't count on it. And I don't want you guys to go to work every day just busting ass when you don't need to, especially if you know a layoff is coming. So stay high out there, and I wish y'all the best. I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.